Class, I'd like to welcome you to our Computer Science 124 Introduction to Programming class. I wanted to quickly give you a little verbal overview of the class and hopefully help you prepare and get ready for the class which we have coming up this semester. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Brother Schweeder. I have a bachelor's degree in physics with a minor in computer science at BYU, Idaho. And then later I went back to school and got a master's degree in nuclear physics at the University of Idaho. Even though you can see physics and nuclear physics in there, my interest fell in computers. I always have said that the physics got me my job, but the computer gave me my career. I've worked 38 years at the Idaho National Laboratory and have retired about 4 years ago from there. I have a family with my wife and 6 children, have 26 grandchildren. And that's the love and the joy of my life is the family. I currently live in Iona, Idaho. I'm a returned missionary serving in Taiwan in the early 70s, learning Mandarin, and then went back with my wife to the Taiwan Taichung mission in 2014 to 16. This is a semester course. I wanted to make sure and point that out. We have to get it all done in this semester. We are expecting you to be here every week and participate with us on a weekly basis and keep up with the class. There's not a lot of chance to move at your own pace, as you might say. It is a 3-hour course, which means that you'll be spending 10 and maybe even more hours outside of your classwork to get the projects done, depending on some of your past experiences with programming. It's divided into 4 units, and in each unit we'll cover each unit in a 3-week block. It has these 4 graded parts to it. There is a participation, a developer's forum that's worth 30% of your work. The developer's forum is where you'll be asking your questions, you'll answering your classmates' questions. There are assignments, which are usually due every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which are 20% of your score. There's a project, which is done in 3 parts, 1 part each week, that builds on itself to a final. On the 3rd week, the final project will be done. Those projects are usually due on Saturday. And then lastly, on that 3rd week, there is a unit test. So there's 4 tests, which count 10% of your grade. We will be covering this week the welcome and week 1 content tabs. Make sure that you're looking at all the links and read and find out the things that you need to do this week. Part of those things you'll find is a textbook that you can download. There's also a media download, which is very large, so it takes a little bit of time to download. So if you want, you can download that. You'll see that there are 3 topics, or some topics we cover. The first is an icebreaker, which is an introduction of yourself to the class. How computers work, and then some discussion about careers in computing. The most important thing, or one of the most important things, is getting yourself onto our server lab, the Linux lab. It is where all of your assignments will be, computing assignments, programming assignments will be done and submitted. You will need to get onto the Linux server. I've included that right here, but it's also written on other materials. You download the desired terminal driver, whether it's Windows or Apple. They have several drivers suggested. I'll go over one of those really quickly. We'll configure shows you how to configure it. There is 10 different IP addresses you can use. So it'll be 201, 202, up to 210, and it's port 215. It's important to see that you're going to log in using the same username that you log into MyBYUI, except they'll all be lowercase letters. Some get confused on that point. The password for a first time in the lab is Temple4DPC. If you had an account last semester, you might still have an account on the lab. So you'd want to be able to do that. Okay, so what I want to do is come and bring up a PuTTY. That's the one configuration that I use. Note that here is an IP address. I chose 208. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Port 215. You can there's lots of settings you can make. You can play around with that if you want. I would suggest you go over here in the Windows and set some column and rows to fit your screen as you'd need, and then the number of scroll back lines so that might want to be increased. As soon as you set that, click default settings and hit save, and that will save it as a session for you, and it will remember that. So let me bring up PuTTY, and here is what it looks like, and it'll asking me to log in, and I'm going to type my password in there, but you'll see that as I type it does not show, so don't let that concern. It's still there. Hit your enter and you're there. One of the commands you'll use is change directory. You don't need to do this, but I do. So I go into a directory for this class. Another thing that is helpful is to list your directory so you can see your file names. That's an LS, and you can see how it moves on down. Okay, now my window's too big here, so let me scroll it up here, and so you can see the cursor still. You can set up directories with a make dir. There is also to remove. RM will remove files for you. Copy is another one that you'll need to know. Copy, and you give it what file you're going to copy from. There is one here that you'll see that's directed to you. It's called a template, and I wanted to kind of quickly go over that. CPP, we'll call it assign 00.cpp 01.cpp. Okay, so that created a file. If I listed it, you would see it there. But then here is our editor is called Emacs. Assign. And now you can see here is our file. This is the template. You're going to use this template every time. You can see I went and did that, but there is no the editor. So what you need to do is come in here, change the number to match the assignment that you're doing, give it a name, and make sure that you put my Control K will delete from where your cursor is to the end of the line, so we can put in Schweider, spell it right, Schwieder. Enter your name down here. Okay, make sure, I'm not going to do it because it's taking time, but you're going to fill out what you're doing for this assignment. You need to fill out how much time you thought it was going to take you and how much it actually did. And describe what was difficult to you. This just helps me, and as I grade and give you feedback and see how your progress is. Again, you need to come in. This is called a function header. Every function has to have a header. You'll learn about that. But then you can come in and type. This is what we'll be learning next week. And to end, you Control XS saves it. Control XC exits the program. And the last, oops, oh golly, I should just make this smaller. And compiling G++ assign 01.cpp compiles it. Oops. What did I call it? Oh, assigning. G++ assign 01.cpp. Okay. A.out. We'll run it. You can see there's the welcome. So I hope this will help you kind of. This is very quick, I know. But as you practice, you'll get to know it. Welcome to our class, and glad to have you.